Well, it's that time of the year, my favorite time of the year, autumn. And with autumn, of course, comes Halloween. And I just love this time of the year. Everything changes. Uh, Everything's getting ready for the winter. And there's just something special about autumn time. I think that's where I'm the most creative also. But I want to share with you guys, since it's Halloween, I want to share with you guys a story um, of my travels in Europe. So many years back, um, I went backpacking in Europe. Traveled all over, traveled to France, Italy, traveled all over Europe, and and saw amazing places. Visited all the World War II historical sites, the cemeteries, all where all the battles were, and of course all the medieval castles, churches. But there was one moment that I think was the most craziest um, part in the trip. There was a movie, I believe in the 80s, called American Werewolf in London. And it's these two American tourists that travel to London, and they end up in the middle of nowhere in a dark part of England. It's like forest, just nothing. It's very dark. And they end up in this small town. And they end up in a pub, and all the people are just weirded out. They just look weird, and they're looking at these two tourists like, what are they doing here? And the story begins from there. And if you haven't watched the movie, go and watch it. It's a really good movie. It's a really good horror film. I don't watch much horror nowadays, but that's a pretty good one. So it takes me back to when I went to France. So we're traveling through France, and we get on a train, and then we're like, okay, let's hit some part of town. I think we were going to north of France. I think we were going to like the World War II site, Omaha Beach, and all that. And we get off the train. It's nighttime, and we end up like we're in the middle of nowhere in France, this remote area in France. At night, it's dark, kind of like there's a fog, a little drizzle. And we're like, okay, let's head out. Let's get out of the station and let's get to the town. Maybe we'll find a place to stay. We have no plans. We have the plan that we're going to get to North France, but on our way there, we haven't planned for anything. It's whatever happens. We're backpacking, you know. So we're like, okay, let's go search for a place to stay. Hopefully, we'll stay. Throughout the trip, sometimes we ended up sleeping on the streets. In Amsterdam, we ended up sleeping in the sidewalk overnight because everything was just full, and we couldn't find a place. So in this case, we're walking towards this small town. It's pitch black, foggy, little drizzle of rain. I think you could see the moon. It was eerie. I look over to my brother. I'm like, this is kind of like American Werewolf in London, but American Werewolf in France. I could hear the howls of the werewolf, and I'm like, let's find something. Let's find something. So we're walking, and we're just waiting for something to jump out and get us. But in the movie, they end up in this pub, and in the pub there's the locals, and when they enter, they all look at these two American tourists like, what the hell are they doing here? What's wrong with these guys? So the two American tourists start freaking out, and the funny thing is, in the pub, everybody knew that there's a crazy werewolf out there, but they didn't want to let these American tourists know. At the end, the American tourists in this movie end up leaving and something bad happens. Watch the movie because it's a great horror movie. But it's funny because it was the same thing that happened to us when we hit the town. So we finally got to the town, and the town was it was strange. The town was like it never left medieval times. Everything, the buildings, the structures, everything was still like it was in the medieval times. And if it wasn't so eerie that night, I think we would have appreciated it more. we felt like we were transported 500, 600, 700, 800 years back. So we find this pub, the French version of a pub. We walk in, and when we walk in, all the locals in that pub turn their heads and look at us like, what are these two Americans doing here? And it was funny. It was funny, but we went inside, and the person in charge of the pub greeted us, told us to come in, and we were just so relieved. We were so relieved to be inside somewhere. We were able to get drinks. I was able to have andouille. It's like one of my favorite foods in France. And just to have that was so comforting, and it felt so good to be able to relax. But then we were like, okay, when we're done, we're gonna have to go back out there and who knows, encounter what. So we left the pub and we started walking around, and we're like, okay. And then we ended up finding a kind of like an inn. The whole experience ended up being awesome. We didn't get attacked by any werewolves. I'm not a werewolf, so, but we ended up in this inn that's like, was like medieval. It was a medieval building. It was such a cool place. I loved it, and it turned out that experience was like one of my best experiences in Europe. I'm glad that happened, and that's what traveling with no plans, just going to places. You have a target where you want to go, and you just go, and in between, it's just whatever happens. But yeah, that was like an amazing trip. It was scary, it was awesome, and I'm glad we went through that. Autumn's my favorite time of the year. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, besides Christmas. The weather changes, and it's just great. But let me light my... So what I'm using with my pipe tonight is, I think it's fitting for the time, Haunted Bookshop. I got it. I thought it was fitting for this time of the year. But also, I want to talk about a couple books that I've read during this time of the year too. One of the books I have is The Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks. This is an excellent book to read. It's like a survival journal, but for the zombie apocalypse. There was a movie made after this book. Brad Pitt starred in it. Then there is, of course, this time of the year, you have to like read a book and poems by Edgar Allan Poe. I got this book. This is a great book to read during this time. I want to read one part of it. It's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe called Alone. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my possessions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill, the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled, in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky, as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm, and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, that's my hold on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story on past travels. If you like that, maybe I'll talk about more stories. I have a bunch of them. But I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. And have a great autumn season. And happy Halloween.
The last man outpost where memories reside, a relic of the past with nowhere to hide, a beacon for drifters with no place to go, in the heart of nowhere, where time moves slow.